Yeah, first I want to apologize for my appearance. I mean, for those who are only listening, I kind of look like a little bit of a hairy mess. The hot California sun has got my whole facial situation, a bit out of whack. So, it's hard dealing with 79-degree weather, right, Drew?
Oh yeah, yeah. I like put on beard oil. I walk outside and it's instantaneously frozen. Feels
Yeah,
good. Um,
yeah.
and then I walk back inside and then my lips are all wet because it's just all of it just melts.
A
So
little wet lip.
yeah, a
Yeah,
little wet
yeah,
lip.
yeah, yeah. Well, with that, welcome to the show, everybody. This is Ruthless Obsession. Just me flying solo today with Andrew, of course, but some people could still consider that solo.
Yeah,
I
I'm.
don't,
I
though.
mean,
You
I'm
know,
here. I'm just
well,
here.
you're a producer extraordinaire. You make everything happen. You
I'm
pick up
fluff.
you pick up you yes, you are the fluff,
I'm the fluff.
the noble fluff. Nothing would
Something's.
happen without you, Drew. So thanks
Yeah.
for being here, buddy. Just to listen to me talk for a little bit.
No. What?
We're
What's?
gonna go back and forth. If you it's gonna be a you and me show.
Well, I'm
All
kind of
the other
excited.
low lifes can't make the time of day for us.
Yeah,
So
it's rough. I am excited though because I feel like with it just being us, it's like super acceptable to give me a top three today. So
oh, you want a top three, huh? You think you deserve a top three?
I mean, it's just you and I. So if I'm gonna, help carry the show for the time being, I think I need a top three.
Well, I figured for about 15, 20 minutes or so, I just give myself top threes.
Okay. Yeah, we can
But
do
no,
that too.
I'm happy to give you one little charity work.
Boom.
Um, we can talk some sports though.
Yeah, for sure.
So what do you want my opinion on? That's what I really want to know.
I genuinely want to know what you think about all of the Cam Newton drama and that high schooler. That's honestly like when I saw that. Did you see that that kid issued like an apology today?
Yeah, with not very good grammar.
Not very good grammar, and it also felt like super unapologetic. He didn't even like. He was just like, "Oh, I was at the 7-on-7. I wasn't raised that way." But he didn't ever say like that he actually felt bad or that like whatever. So, what do you think about Cam Newton and
Well, yeah,
all that?
I appreciate the question. I will admit that I've always liked Cam. I thought he's always been such a great athlete, and to be quite honest with you, I think he's been a really good role model for a lot of kids. The video we're talking about was one of his camps. He does a ton of camps. I know a lot of athletes do camps, but he's always been someone to me that I've always considered to have a really good reputation. A lot of people don't like him because he's dresses like flamboyantly and he's a bit outspoken. And after that Super Bowl loss, it was a really bad PR moment for him. But he just lost the biggest game of his life, and he's, from all the looks of it, he's never going back there again. So like, give him a little slack. But with this, I actually thought he handled it really well. And there was a second video, potentially one that will be seen a little bit less than the main one, where the kid's kind of telling him off and calling him a free agent and all that stuff, where he tries to kind of reach the kid and talk to him and teach him use it as a teaching moment rather than just like a viral him going crazy thing. And so I thought Cam handled it actually really well, and I respect him for that. And I think that in that second video, he says some stuff like, we squashed it. We're all good. Cause I think the coach comes over and tries to like deal with it a little bit, but he says, no, we're good. I'm just trying to talk to him, that kind of thing. And the kid, whatever, he's a high school kid. Yeah. If that was my son, would I have been pissed? Absolutely. But the
He's
kid will, whatever, I don't think that, it's gonna follow him around on his resume like, oh wait, you're the kid who dissed Cam Newton that one time. We're not gonna hire you. Like,
yeah. I
why
mean,
does he have to apologize?
I don't think that he necessarily has to apologize or anything. I mean, if anything, it's only really because it went viral, And the one that did go viral is the one where Cam's like, I'm rich. I'm rich. It doesn't matter. I'm rich. Like, so it kind of looks bad, the one that did go viral. But the kid is there to learn from Cam. Like you're there at this camp for a reason. If you want to, elevate your game, get to the next level, 7-on-7s are great opportunities to get scouted. I mean, I know they do scouts at a lot of those, especially the ones that are hosted by the pros. It's like, how is this, high schooler just coming in and acting like he is badder than Cam Newton? Like Cam
I
Newton's
know.
standing there like,
I get it, but listen, Drew.
ridiculous.
He's a high school kid. We all knew dumb high school kids that grow up and they're not so dumb anymore. It's like you're in high school. You're like 16 or 17 years old. I don't know. Was it a bad look for him? Would I have been disappointed in my kid if he had done that? Sure, but not the end of the world for anybody. And I actually think that Cam saying, I'm rich. I think that was him taking the high road because he could have gone off on the kid
Oh yeah.
for being like a nothing, whatever.
He could have kicked him out of the camp. It's his camp.
That's right.
He could have been like,
That's
go
right.
home, kid. If you don't want to be here, don't be here.
But you know what? I'm more disappointed in whoever was taking the video. Like, dude, get a life.
Yeah, just
First of all, you're playing football. Why do you have your phone on you? Put that in your bag. Leave that. Someone's gonna step on it, or it's gonna whatever. Like all this voyeuristic society we live in. Not to get too deep, but it's just like a very. That's more upsetting to me. Well, like we shouldn't even be talking about this because it's none of our business. It's nothing that we have anything to do with. But now all of a sudden it's happened. It's out in the world. You and I are allowed to have opinions on it. And now we're talking about it, creating content based off of it. And honestly, I would rather talk about things that are more important. I'm glad you brought it up. I don't mean to be like, yo, what are you doing, Drew?
I wanted to
know.
It's
not important.
I wanted to know just because, some people, think that it's not like that big of a deal to call out somebody who's maybe slumping in their career or anything like that. But at the same time, it's like Cam's just trying to give back to the game,
You're absolutely right. And also, he's an NFL MVP.
Yeah.
Nothing you can say is going to take anything away from him.
Exactly.
So you keep trying if you want to, but I guarantee that kid, like most kids, they're not going to do anything that impressive. He might, who knows? I don't know this kid. He could be great at a lot of things, but NFL MVP, Super Bowl contender, leading all of the QB stats for an entire NFL franchise.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll take that one over. Yeah.
And if that kid does get good, you can just say oh well, I mean, if you never went to that camp of, the MVP.
If I were the ultimate thing would be in 10 years, that kid maybe plays for the NFL, like a practice squad team, has a big touchdown catch in a game, and Cam takes credit for it on social media.
I did that. If you didn't come to my camp, you would have never gotten
That's
anywhere.
Right. That was all me.
Yeah.
What else you got?
Well, we can switch it up and talk a little bit of baseball. So I know the last time we had discussed maybe some of your favorite teams and some of the baseball teams that you follow, and I know that the Padres are a team that you do follow.
Yes.
And they just
made indeed,
a
sir.
really big announcement. So
yeah, Tatis, that contract. My gosh, it was how many years was it? 14 years.
14 years. I think
340 mil.
Yeah, 340 million. That's cool.
Tell you what, man, baseball they do it like no other. I mean, these baseball
crazy.
Contracts. If you're an athlete, if you're an athletic kid, play baseball because, I mean, I know there's the minor league system and a lot of guys don't get paid, but if you're good enough, you get paid.
You get paid. You get paid like hardcore too.
I'll tell you what, the Padres are spending like they're the Dodgers. And I don't know that they can, but they are.
It's cool though.
Of course, it's cool. It's great. I love the Padres. I'm rooting for the Padres this year, obviously. And I like Tatis. He had a great year last year. I really think that they're trying to make him the face of baseball, and I can't think of anyone that would be better for that because he's young. He's he. You could easily see him having um, a big youth fan base, like drawing a
Yeah,
lot of young people in. He's good,
he's real good.
and yeah, real good, real good. Um, and this contract just solidifies him as not only the face of this franchise, but I think they're. I mean, he's on the cover of the show, or
Yeah,
what is it?
it's
Yeah,
the show. Yeah, yeah.
the show, which I should buy. I really should pre-order that or
It looks
something.
good. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, but hey, I'm all for it. The Padres are win now, though. I mean, they got
Oh yeah.
with all the acquisitions they made in the offseason. Machado's still there in his prime. Like this is the time.
They really did upgrade the rotation. They got Blake Snell, they got
Hmm.
Musgrove, which I think
Hmm.
if they take Musgrove and really like, train him, get him, peak performance, I think that he could be really good. He was pretty good for the Pirates. I mean, all things considered, but every Pirates pitcher that leaves that org and goes to any org that has any good pitching coaches, automatically they get elevated. Like they get so good instantaneously. So
Hmm.
I hope to see Musgrove do well. But the main reason I bring that up is because what I really want to hear about is your opinion on those kind of large franchise esque deals that go on in baseball. Like Bryce Harper, you got like Mookie Betts, you got stuff like that where they pay people for 10, 12 years. And, those are kind of polarizing contracts. A lot of the time it's because, well, once they get paid and they get like guaranteed money, a lot of those players kind of just fall off. So, like, what's kind of your take on those really high value long term deals?
I guess I don't know if I've got a really strong take on it. The one thing I will say is I'm having trouble thinking of one of those contracts that has worked out for the length of the deal because I mean when you sign a player, you're hoping that the money you spend is you're looking for a value, so you're hoping that his performance, I guess, outpaces the money you're paying him. And contrast like that, I don't think that ever happens. I mean, I think that the Angels are still paying Pujols. I mean,
Yeah, I
that
believe
was one of
so.
those first mega deals. I mean, I don't know about. I know Stanton's played well, but I still don't know if that long term the Yankees going to see the full. I don't know, get the most out of that deal. I mean, I'm just maybe you know one. Is there a contract like that that you can think of that has paid off, has actually turned a franchise around, or really withstood the test of like the test of time for that the length of that contract?
I don't know if there's necessarily any deal offhand that I can think of that has lasted the 10 years, or because usually by like year 5, 6, 7 they start to like actually consider trade options, and that's when nobody wants them anymore. That's when people are like, you got a lot of money left on this, and that's when things like the Rockies giving away, um why am I drawing a blank on his name?
Arenado?
Arnado. And like paying to get rid of him because it's
Yeah.
like we don't think he's going to be that good for that much longer. He's already kind of slumping, so maybe we should wheel and deal him while like our big thing is they'll get ticket sales up. Like they'll get some people into the stadium. But, you think of like some of the big ones that have failed over time, like Robinson Cano. Dude,
Mm,
that one fell off hard, like real
mm.
hard. I'm trying to think of
But
other
at
like
the
really big
time
ones.
though, at the time though, I think that everyone knew what was going to happen with that because Seattle wasn't in a place to contend, and it really did feel like a true money grab. And not saying that usually when people use the term money grab, it has negative connotations. Robinson Cano was fine to do that. I've got no issues with that. but I think at the time everyone felt like he was going there because of the giant contract, not because they were going to be a real contender while he was there. So that's a little bit different, but it still is true that it didn't result in any wins or a championship or anything like that. I mean, hell, I don't think the Mariners made the playoffs that entire time.
Not only that, but I think he even got suspended for like PEDs
PD,
for a
oh
whole
yeah.
season or something like that. Like what a but he was guaranteed like a lot of money over that entire time.
Here's the problem. Going back to like Tatis, like with a non salary cap sport, if you don't pay him, someone else is going to. So they could have said, "Hey, Tatis, listen, buddy, like we love having you on the team. We're not really in the business to do these mega deals. We want to build a good team around you so that we can actually contend and all the reasons you wouldn't do a deal like that in a salary cap sport. If you say all that stuff, he'd be like, I appreciate you saying that. I appreciate that you say you value me, but the Red Sox are over here willing to give me, half the state of Massachusetts, so I'm going to go there.
Yeah, it's pretty
So
easy
it's like if you
decision.
don't, someone else will, and that's just it. That's just them's the breaks.
Yeah, I think when you're talking about these kind of contracts too, I think the ones that typically feel like they fall off hard, um, but I think actually have better value is when you get long term deals on good pitchers. And the
Mm.
reason that I say that is because a pitcher might have like an off year, like Justin Verlander, right? Like he goes to the Astros on, I think it was what, like 5 or 6 year contract or something like that, which I would say that's pretty long term for somebody who's already pitched, as many years as he did at that point for the Tigers and whatnot. Um, and like the first year he went there, he like slumped pretty hard. But then, got him to the World Series and,
Yeah.
like a whole bunch of other stuff like that. And he played great. I was like prime Verlander again.
So
So
true. It's so true. I mean, you still have guys like David Price out there whose prime was like 10 years ago, but he's in the rotation on the Dodgers
yeah,
and they'll
he's
probably win. Like he'll
probably,
probably
yeah,
get another ring.
yeah, probably. I mean, dude, like he got all of last year off because he didn't play due to COVID. And he's already back at spring training now, throwing bullpens and stuff like that. I'm excited. I mean, I can't wait to see what a year of rest will do for that guy.
Mhm.
Like, he might come back better and stronger. Who knows?
But to your point, I mean, I do just wonder, how long will Bryce Harper play at the level he does, or, you know, there are certain guys out there that turn into not role players, but kind of like with the Bucks in football this year, where you have a bunch of names that used to be stars, but now they're not quite stars, but they're still great. And you look at the list of names on that team, like you have Ndamukong Suh and Jason Pierre-Paul in that defense, and I mean those players were at one time the top three best in their position. They're not anymore, but they can obviously still play, and you put enough of
Mm-hmm.
those guys together. So every once in a while you see a couple of guys like that in baseball um, do that too. But I get the sense that most championship teams, they're not made up of a bunch of those guys. They might have one of them. Like Ryan Braun's still playing. I think he's
Yeah.
still playing well. I mean, he's one of those guys that's still getting paid a ton of money, I think. But 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 in terms of finding the value in that big of a contract, I mean, unless, like you said, unless it's a generational pitcher, I don't know that you're ever going to get it. It's merely done because if you don't do it, someone else will, and you don't want
Yeah.
to miss out. Another thing I'll say is, I think from a fan base perspective, it can. We talked about this, I don't know, several weeks ago in one of our episodes about, what trading away good players can do to a fan base. It can send a lot of messages, lose support, gain support, things like that. You're doing a deal like this and locking up Tatis for this long, they are basically saying that at least for the next 7 years, which is still a long time, and that's only half of the contract. For at least the next 7 years, we are going to have. They're choosing a face. They're
Yeah.
going to have a defined era, and they know they're going to have this piece, and this piece, and the rest might flow, but it's like the Phillies with Rollins, Howard, and
You know, I
Victorino.
was I
Like
was
those
gonna
guys.
bring
Oh,
up
and
Utley.
Utley, Chase Utley.
I was gonna bring up Chase Utley, Jimmy Rollins, and Shane Victorino as some of the notable guys who like were still really good even after they left the Philly. I mean, heck, Victorino won World Series in Boston, and Jimmy Rollins and Chase Utley went to play for the Dodgers, and they both did very well there too. Like, I mean, they were never like they were back in 2008 Phillies, but I mean, still like they stayed pretty good for a long time.
Hmm.
And kind of, made some of those deals look a little bit worth it because you got a lot of fan support, and you got a lot of like just value out of kind of good position players, solid position players like that. So
Yeah, so with the Padres, I mean, if they feel like their window is the next 3 to 4 years, go for it. And why not? Okay, so you overpay on the guy, but if you feel like you have enough young talent in your farm system that can come up and maybe fill some of the gaps that you lose because you can't, I don't know, afford to pay everybody, um, then go for it. I mean, what do you have to lose? I mean, you're the Padres.
yeah,
It's not like you're the who the heck else. I mean, you got nothing to lose. You got
yeah,
everything to
you
gain.
had nothing to lose.
I mean, at the very worst, your owner looks like a little bit of a he's trying to buy glory. But is that such a bad thing? I mean, gosh, the Nuttings in Pittsburgh get crushed every season for not going for it. So
Yeah,
if I'm a Padres fan, and I might be, um, you can't be anything but happy with this. I mean, it's not your money you're spending.
yeah, exactly. And honestly, I mean, he's still young, so like locking him down
So
for
young.
14 years, like I mean, he might just retire off that. After those 14 years, he might be like, you know what, I've had a pretty
Yeah,
good career. I think I'm gonna
he's
call it.
gonna be in his mid 30s.
Yeah, he might be like, I'm done. It's okay. I don't need to, play anymore. Or he could
Hmm.
go and do that elsewhere too, and like still be kind of like the, oh, I'll be the ticket sales guy, and I'll, show up and be like the fan favorite. That's fine. Like he's so young, and lock down this kind of major deal. So all the power to him. Love the guy. I
Hmm.
think he's great for baseball. So
He really is. I mean,
yeah,
dude, I mean, baseball needs an IV of enthusiasm and youth,
yeah.
and he might be it. I mean, flip that bat, buddy. I
Dude,
mean,
he's
do it.
so fun to watch.
He's so
He's so
good.
good. I mean, it's like when Jose Batista got good. Like he's like good and kind of cocky, but like, just
Joey
it's
Bats. I
it's
forgot
it's
about
a
that
real
guy.
feel good like when you watch him just like throw the bat, like look at the pitcher in the face. Like come on, it just gets fans going.
Yeah.
So good for him.
Right on. Right on. All
Um
right. What else you got, buddy?
what else do I have? What about wasn't there like a golf tournament that just happened?
I know they had the waste management in Phoenix 2 weekends ago, but I haven't watched any golf, man. I mean, the only golf news that I have gotten so far is that Tiger's iffy on the Masters because he's got his back's flaring up again. Which, like, what else is new?
I mean, it's
But
Tiger.
I mean, it's Tiger.
It's Tiger.
I'll watch him if he was out there in a wheelchair. I don't care.
Yeah, that's actually
Um,
that might be even more fun sometimes. You can be like, wow, he's standing up from
well,
the wheelchair, he's putting.
it's a lot of arm strength.
Yeah, there you go. um, okay. Well, what other big things are going on soon? Haven't happened
Oh,
yet, but soon.
well, I mean, the NASCAR season's kicked off already. We've had 2 races in the bag. We got Daytona, which was won by Michael McDowell. I keep wanting to call him Graham McDowell. I think Graham McDowell is a golfer, a Scottish golfer, I believe. I digress. Um, so McDowell won Daytona after a big fiery crash on the last lap. And then the Daytona road course was 2 days ago, or yesterday actually,
Yesterday,
and
yeah.
Christopher Bell. And actually, I wanted to bring this up because I mean I'm sure it's said in NASCAR communities, but it hasn't been said here yet. Joe Gibbs Racing has got the greatest collection of drivers right now, and they have for a while. I mean Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Busch, Denny Hamlin, and now this young guy Christopher Bell that just won the road course yesterday. They're really good. I mean, a lot of teams like Hendrick Motorsports and and Roush and stuff. They don't. They might have 1 star and a couple up and comers, but it's just packed. I mean, they're literally running in the top 5. All 4 of those guys are the top 5, and like sprinkling in like Logano every once in a while, and that's your top 5 of just about every race last year and the year before that. It's remarkable.
Who's Denny's sponsor these days?
Are you serious?
Well, because I believe his like sponsorship with FedEx is only like he's only got like 4 races with the FedEx car this year or something like that. I want to say.
I believe that is completely inaccurate, and I actually
What
think that he is with FedEx for another 3 years.
is it?
It was.
Well,
Oh yeah,
I thought
yeah.
that
It's
he
okay.
had some deal where he had to do like a mix of sponsorships.
Nah, man. Nah.
Okay, well, shows how
I
much I
mean,
know about NASCAR.
that's all right. The sponsorship game is not something that's that important. Um, but yeah,
Well,
it's
that's
FedEx.
why I would watch is like to see the cool cars. I
Who,
like looking.
who's got your favorite car? I mean, it's got to be the M&M car. I mean, it's
No,
so
my
good.
favorite car is the monster car. We talked about this.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
Of
it's
course,
okay.
I gotta say, Kurt Busch driving the #1 monster. I think it's a Chevy. I think he drives a Chevy. The dude is a cagey vet. He's the definition of a cagey vet. The dude drives with grit. He knocks people off the
Gotta love
track,
that
and,
grit in
and,
that
and
heart.
he knocks people off and doesn't care. He just unapologetic. I saw him intentionally get into the back of people multiple times yesterday, and it was fun to watch. I mean, it stinks. I mean, it's good because none of them were my drivers, but the dude's like Clint Boyer, who just retired. They just are old school veteran drivers that know exactly what they're doing and don't mind, bumping and rubbing. It's awesome, especially on a road course, because
There you go.
it's much easier to spin someone out on all these turns and to get loose because there's so many sharp turns and you're going at a lot slower speed, so it's not as dangerous. It's different if you're going 200 on the straightaway at Daytona
Yeah.
and you, you spin someone out. You can almost die like Ryan Newman almost did last year.
Yeah, that's
But
wild.
but yeah, hey, that Monster Energy and you know what? He was leading for maybe 1 or 2 laps, and they're long laps. He was leading for 1 or 2 laps yesterday. Spun out, got pushed all the way back to like 24th, and then still came up and was contending at the end of the race. It was pretty impressive. It was cool to
That's
see that.
awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
The other thing, kind of switching gears. The other thing that happened recently
Oh,
was
I see what you did there. I see what you did with the.
yeah, switching
Yeah.
gears. Got
It's good
him.
stuff.
Um,
That's why they tune in. That's why they all
yeah,
want us.
this is where you come for quick quips.
No, no, no.
um, so my Avs, they're they beat
Did you
the
watch the Winter Classic?
well it got postponed
Oh,
like
that's right. That's right. That's
so
right.
so it was ridiculous. I was listening to it while I was painting room in my house, and they're like talking about how it's getting postponed, ice is melting, not suitable conditions there, whatever.
They
And
forgot how the sun works.
yeah, just a little bit. And then I was like, checking all day, just trying to see like when it's gonna come back on. Dude, I stayed up till like 1:30 listening to that game just for that. Like they won, which was awesome, but I was just like, well, I can't miss it. Like I can't. I'm now a fan. This is the second game that I get to listen to. I got like I gotta hang out. So I'm just
I
like
will say
sitting
though,
here. Oh,
Andrew,
it was fun.
I will say though, is that it's the Winter Classic. It's in Tahoe. You need to be watching that game, not listening to that game. That's the whole point.
I know, but I don't have
They're all going to
cable.
sound the same.
I don't have
It's not like
cable.
it's not like the mountains, changing. Dude, just
I
find an
know.
illegal Reddit stream. You do it. Everybody does it. Just do it.
I know I should, but I don't for some reason. I don't know why. I just
I
don't
get
do
I
that.
get why listening you prefer it. I listened to a Wild game the other day. I really enjoyed it. I get it. I'm all in on whatever form, however you want to watch it. But for the Winter Classic, when the spectacle is the location of the game,
I guess
gotta tune
that's
in.
the other thing is like since I'm still getting into hockey, I don't really know all that kind of stuff yet. Like that
Okay,
you
well
have like
I'll educate you right now. Okay, so every game is played indoors except for that one. There you go.
is that
That's
for
all you need to
every
know.
single team though? Does every team get a winter classic?
No, No, it's only a few. I think
Oh,
back when we could go to games, I think it's the I'm not sure, but I think the 2019 season they had four to six of them before, because it was a big event, you have to, it has to work with schedules and location, all that stuff. I think they had only done one or two in a given season, but I think they've increased it because people like it so much. It's so cool. And then to put it in a place that doesn't even have a team, it's almost like a neutral ice. And in such a cool location where Tahoe is. I mean, it's beautiful up there. That was going to be something really cool. I mean, and it was cool, but
I mean, I
but
watched all the highlights. If that makes you feel any better.
actually, I'm glad you said that because it does make me feel better.
Okay, cool. So yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
very good.
But
My
it
Minnesota Wild just wiped the floor with the Ducks last night. Very pleased about that.
well, good for you.
Yeah, actually, it might have been Saturday. They won 5-1. They started off really strong. They petered out and then had a bunch of COVID issues. 2 games back, I believe they won both of them, or they went 1-1. Either way, let's go Wild.
Yeah, that's fair. Um, I'm trying to think. I don't really
JJ
know.
Watt still hasn't been signed yet.
Well, sure. And I don't know if you saw his tweet. I did think his tweet was real
Well,
funny. So,
sure, but does anyone care?
no, somebody tweeted at him saying like, "Hey, can you find a team already and like sign somewhere?" And he was like, "I spend an hour searching through DoorDash to not know what I want. Finding a new team in a new city is going to take a little bit longer than an hour." So,
I'm so glad you said that. I gotta mention this. I cannot tell you how many times I've scrolled through Seamless or DoorDash and ended up just not even ordering anything because I was so, and it just nothing helps you. There should be, every time you open up that app, there should be a little box that says, "What are you thinking about right now? Forget food. What are you thinking about?" And give me some like non-food related questionnaire, and then they're going to be like, you know what, based on your mood, this is what you need to have. And you say, no, I don't, I had like a burger last night. Oh, well, you know what, I still really think you should get the burger. And they're like, oh shit, really? This is that good of a burger that it thinks I should have this? And it's based on my mood as well. So
sounds like this would be perfect for JJ Watt.
I'm concerned for JJ.
I
I mean,
mean,
he shouldn't.
he's
He shouldn't. Yeah, I don't know. Right now, it's a sweet spot because he's one of very few players that, since he's been released by the team, he can be signed now versus everyone else waiting until free agency starts in 2 weeks, 2-ish weeks.
something like that.
So I mean, you have a lot of power right now, but as soon as free agency, I guarantee you something will work out before free agency opens up. Because as soon as it does, these teams aren't going to wait around for JJ. They're going to be like, you know what, I can go get another D end who isn't as good as you right now, but he's younger, and I can go get him now, and I can move on with my off season versus piddling around with JJ Watt and making sure he's got enough sushi places in
Yeah,
in Cleveland. Give me a
yeah.
break.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, how long has he been in the league now? Like 10 years
I don't know, dude's
or
old,
something
man.
like that.
Dude,
So
I think that he played in the division when Peyton Manning was in the division. Um, but I don't know that for sure. I think he's like 10 years in at least.
it's. I feel
We should
like
be
it's
able to
10 years.
quickly look this up.
So you're looking at like a 10 year pro. And I mean, it's not like he's garbage, but
Mhm.
he's older. We've talked about it before on this show. He'll probably get like, you know, sub 10 sacks.
Sub 10, absolutely. Okay, so
I mean,
this
like,
this the
I wanted
2021
to say sub
season.
5, but
The 2021 season will be his 10th season.
okay.
Let's see here. Yeah, dude. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh, JJ Watt's not good. I don't even know if I want this guy. I mean, we talked about him already, so apologies for being a little bit repetitive here. But just going back in time, by season, 5 sacks, 4 sacks, 16, 0. Well, I think there was a lot of injuries in 2017. 1.5. And then you get into his good stuff where he was like defensive player of the year, like 17 and a half, 20 and a half, 10 and a half, 20 and a half. Like that was a sweet spot from 2012 to 2015. But hey, man, it's been 5 years since you've been like a dominant force. So, I mean, I'm all fine. I'm fine with grabbing him and having him on the team, but it's got to be for the right price and
He's
for the right number of years.
he's not going to make your team worse, but
Right.
he's really like going to be transitioning to like the locker room presence where he's got to coach up the younger guys and really take on like the leadership role on a team. So, it would be nice to see him go to some team that doesn't have a lot of role models. I'm thinking like if he went to the Steelers and he like churched up the defense a little bit. That
Hold
would,
on a minute. Cam Hayward and Joe Hayden are doing a good job in Pittsburgh.
are they? Pittsburgh's always got a lot of loose cannons.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Who named the loose cannons? I mean,
Like
AJ
Juju
Brown
and
or
stuff like that. Like, I mean, they've.
Antonio Brown, Juju. Those are all offensive guys. Those are deep wide receivers. And there's one thing we know about the Steelers: they can draft wide receivers very well. Like
Yeah, they can.
Mike. I mean, you go back forever, but what JJ should go to a team that can win now. I mean that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to need to happen for him because like we were just talking about the Bucks and you have Ndamukong Suh, JPP, like those
What do
guys
you
aren't
think
all
of?
stars
What do you
now.
think of
But
going to Tampa? If Tampa was like, "Hey, I mean, we just, we won the Super Bowl. We got like a lot more money now. We could just sign him too and see if we can get a second year out of this Brady stuff."
so a couple things on that. Number one is a team doesn't have more salary cap because they won the Super Bowl, but the franchise in general made a lot of money. I get what you're saying, but I don't think that's going to help the cap situation. Other thing is, I don't think that a lot of players are going to be leaving the Bucks. I mean, I think Levante David is their one big defensive free agent that will need to be re-signed. And I think Ndamukong Suh's been on a bunch of one-year deals hopping around the league,
Mm-hmm.
so he might need to sign and come back. But that's going to be dependent on whichever team wants to have him. But JJ, I mean, I really think the Packers could be. I mean, it's in Wisconsin, it's hometown for him. I mean, you have the last year or two of Aaron Rodgers in his prime, not even in his prime, just like playing at the level he is, contending. I don't even see him going to Cleveland. I don't see him going to Buffalo either for the same reason because it's not ready made. It's not like serve it up on a platter. I mean, Packers were just a couple plays away,
Yeah,
you know.
that's fair.
So we're like the Browns. It's the first year head coach. Who knows if it's gonna happen again? Like
It
with the
would be
Bills.
really nice to see the Browns stay up there. Like,
I know. I
I,
know.
I would like I like Baker. I really do. I
Bake,
want to
shake and bake.
I really want to see him have like just a really long good career. I get excited watching him play. So like
He's exciting.
yeah, he's exciting. He's been fun to watch ever since college. I mean, I don't know. I'm a big Baker fan. So I promise I will, if he's always there in fantasy, I will always draft him because I love having Baker on my team.
I mean, he was actually a terrible fantasy quarterback. So
It
by all
doesn't
means, go ahead and
matter.
do that.
Doesn't matter. It's more just having him on the team.
Yeah.
He's got a couple good weeks in there. That's all you need out of him.
He does have a few good weeks, but he needs to have many
All
good
of the good
weeks.
weeks.
Yeah, all of the good weeks.
Yeah.
All right, dude. Let's finish off here with the top three. I got one for you. I know you've been clamoring for one, so here you go. This is your moment. Okay.
Whoa, I get
Better.
one first? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll close.
Okay.
This is your moment to shine here. Okay. There's a lot of expectation. So, do you need a minute? Do you want to compose yourself? Like, what? How do you want to do
Oh
this?
my god.
I can
Oh
just
my
hit
god.
you with it.
I gotta breathe. I gotta breathe. Okay, go
I'm a
for
little
it.
concerned for you. I'll be honest. All right. Your top three national flags.
Oh, man. Okay. Well, I really like Ukraine's flag. It's dope. Um, New Zealand and Germany. Germany's pretty
No,
cool.
America? What's the matter with you?
Yeah, I don't know. It's
Star
too.
Stripes, a little overplayed.
Yeah. I see it too much, you know.
I get that. I get that.
Okay. Wow. Now I wasn't ready for that. Okay, for
That's
you,
the point.
top three top three Taco Bell items in order.
You just hit me across the face with that. I
Yeah.
mean, gosh, there are so many directions I can go with this. You had no idea how difficult and how lovely a question this is because I love thinking about Taco Bell.
It's
In
great.
order, I'll start with number 3. Oh gosh, there's so many good ones. All right. All right. You ready? Fritos burrito.
Okay.
Or beefy Fritos burrito, whatever other adjectives they cram into the front of that thing. But it's the
I think
Fritos
they throw
burrito.
in some 5-layer, if you know what I mean. Five
No,
layer
no, no, no,
Fritos
no.
burritos.
No, no, no. That is a menu item. That's not the one I'm talking about. That is not the one I'm talking about. I'm
Okay.
talking about just the beefy Fritos burrito.
Okay.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. You need a little crunch in there.
Yeah, it's good.
Number two. Number two, chicken quesadilla with a
Classic.
little whatever sauce you want. I like to go medium. You can go mild if you want. Hot for the dangerous. That's fine. Chicken quesadilla. And number one, you already know what I'm about to
I
say.
do know number one.
It's the cheesy gordita crunch with no Baja sauce. A lot of
Correct.
people call it spicy ranch. It's the technical name is Baja sauce. If you're calling it spicy ranch, you don't go there enough.
That's
So it's the
accurate.
cheesy gordita crunch, 100%. But I think there's a theme here. Two of the three top menu items have a little crunchy. They got a little crunchy surprise
Oh
inside.
yeah.
And I think that's something I'm realizing about myself. I appreciate a crunchy surprise.
Boom.
Boom. Episode done. See you next time. All right. So if you've listened this far, you must, for some reason, like what you've heard. So, given that, please remember to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at ObsessionCast for all future episode updates and whatever else we might post, sports related or otherwise. Thanks for watching.